Hey, buddy, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now too. How are you?
Oh, doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. How's work today?
Man, to be honest with you, I enjoyed this weather. I'm a conductor on a train, so a lot of times I'm riding on the back of a rail car or something, and whenever the weather's nice, it makes the day go by a lot better.
Oh, yeah, it's been beautiful the last couple of days, which is a nice relief after this weekend.
Now, last week, those last few days was pretty brutal.
Yeah, like Friday was a suck fest for the opening of the Velvet Hunt.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, so how
I
long you been
thought,
doing the train stuff?
I've been with the railroad now right at 5 years, almost.
Okay.
I think December I'll hit my 5 year mark.
What got you into train stuff? Because I always thought that would be really interesting to do.
Well, whenever I got out of high school, I went joined the military, and I did that for 4 years. Went to the Navy, and whenever I got out, I really didn't have any clue what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like an outfitter or like a guide, out west.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up some guide schools and stuff, and I was like, man, it would be fun. I was single at the time, but it would have been fun to do it, man. But it would have been probably a pretty rough life, especially for somebody like me that didn't know anything about how to hunt out west. But I came back home and I wound up going to Diesel College up in Nashville,
Right.
and I got my degree or whatever, as a diesel mechanic. And then I done that, tried that game for about 3 years, and I was like, you know what? I do not want to do this the rest of my life. So I moved back home and started working at a gunsmithing shop, and did that for, I don't know, probably about 2 years. And I met this guy
And
that
how
worked on
long
the
ago was
railroad.
this?
Let's see, this was probably 7 years ago.
Okay.
When I was doing the gunsmith thing. And I met a guy that worked on the railroad, and we became friends, met him, through the gun shop. And he's the one that actually got me the job on the railroad.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of like, he come in there one day and he's like, hey, man, you want a job on the railroad? I was like, yeah, is it that easy, And he said,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. He said, I'll get you an interview or whatever. So sure enough, I had a interview at Dunkin' Donuts with this guy, and like he hired me. And I was like, man, that's not how I wanted to spend the last 5 years. Not being able to think that I was going to be able to get a job like this, that easy. But
Right. Well, that's pretty incredible.
it worked out, man. And I started out as a signal maintainer on the railroad, and then just recently, about 3 months ago, I swapped over and started training as a conductor, and now I'm all certified and living the dream.
That's awesome. So they provide the training for like conductor training or whatever. You don't have to go to any sort of school. It's just like all on the job or what?
It's all on the job
That's
because
awesome.
we're a short line railroad, so we're not like the big name. Like I think the class one, like if you work on the class one railroad, I'm pretty sure you have to go to conductor school.
Mm-hmm.
Not 100% on that, but I know they actually have conductor schools. And whenever I, started asking about it, they said, yeah, you'll just do OJT. And once get all your training, get all the tests passed, you'll be certified. So,
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's really cool. So you get to be home every night then doing that, huh?
yeah, man, I'm home. Most time I'm home by 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening. We go in at 6.
And what's it like for your hunting schedule? Do you get much time off to hunt then?
I don't. So now that I'm a conductor, I won't be getting as much time to hunt, like, in the mornings before, like during the week and stuff. But like, I'm off on the weekends. It's a Monday through Friday job, and then I'm off every holiday. And then once I get my 5-year mark, I'll get bumped up to 3 weeks vacation.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So
use it all in
I'll
November.
still get to hunt in the evenings, through the week, and hit it on the weekends.
Yeah, well, that's great, man. Hey, so I wanted to talk to you about, because you're one of the few people I know that had success on the velvet hunt this year in Tennessee. So I kind of wanted to go over that story with you here.
Okay.
So I guess let's start from the beginning. So, like, is this buck you killed? Is that one you've had historical data with? Is it on public or private? And how'd you go about finding him, I guess?
He's on a private farm. It's a farm that I hunt that it's about 170 acres, and I've been turkey hunting it for about 5 or 6 years, and then after about I can't remember if it was the second or third year, the landowner told me I could deer hunt, and
nice.
I knew it was going to be a good spot because I was seeing them every turkey season. I was getting good bucks on camera, like when I'd put my cameras out for turkeys, like in February. I was still getting bucks that had their horns, and I'm like, man, I remember the first year I'd done it, I got a double main beam buck on there. It was like a 2.5-year-old 13 point.
Man, I love the ones with character like that. I mean, it's nice for the high scoring ones, but I really enjoy like the ones that are unique like that.
Yeah, it's been a great farm to deer hunt, because it's big enough to where you can let a deer walk, and the chances of him surviving is pretty good over there. So
right. And so you've turkey hunted it for a while, but how many years prior to this velvet hunt have you actually deer hunted it?
So at least 4. I'm pretty sure it's 4. That deer I killed, I had 3 years history with him.
Okay, so you're very familiar with the farm and deer hunting it then, huh, and how the deer move.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the farms. It just sets up perfect. Like there's on the side of the farm that I like to deer hunt. There's a big long ridge that runs north and south, and there's a bedding area on both ends of it. So the ridge is probably, I don't know, 500 yards long, I'd say 400, and a good thicket on both sides. And then on the north end of it, there's 2 hollows that come up and cross, and there's a point right there, and it's just like a deer highway.
Oh, really?
And that's where I killed that deer, and that's where I killed the big 8 point on the velvet hunt last year in the same spot.
Oh, so you've had success 2 years in a row in the velvet hunt? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I killed one last year. It was a 140-inch 8 point, but I had 4 years of history. So the whole time, basically, that I'd been deer hunting it, I knew that deer was there.
So both of these deer that you killed in the last 2 velvet hunts, you've had prior history with.
Right. The first one I had 4 years history, and then this one I had 3.
Okay. So did you see this deer on the hoof last year during deer season?
So the funny thing is about the one I killed Saturday, that was the second time I'd laid eyes on him in 3 years. And
oh, really?
And the first time I laid eyes on him was on the velvet hunt last year. He was with the buck I shot.
Oh, okay.
and believe it or not, he had a better rack last year than he did this time. But
really?
Yeah, I would have shot either one of them last year, but I luckily I got the bigger one.
And they were just all battered up. Were you getting a lot of trail camera pictures of them before?
Yeah, yeah, I had pictures of them. The farm is one of them farms. It's like they're bachelored up there, early season,
Right.
and
Is there a
then
lot? Is there a lot of food there?
there's not. There's a lot of acorn trees,
Okay.
and then there's a lot of cow pastures,
Okay.
and some of them pastures, it's got clover in them and stuff, but as far as like agriculture, the only agriculture is probably 2 miles away,
Okay.
the closest.
So, what do you think's keeping them there then? You think just the fields with the clover and stuff, and well, I mean before the acorns drop and stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, I put out minerals and I feed them as
Okay.
much as I can.
Okay. So you do
But
supplemental feeding all year.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but still though, I mean, about opening week of bow season. So here in the next few weeks, those deer leave,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't have them again until about the end of December. The ones that make it, they'll come back. So it's not the best rut farm by any means. I mean, I'll get new bucks that'll move in there, but as far as killing those deer during the rut, you hardly ever. I don't think I've ever killed one of them that I've had in the summer. Early season. I hadn't killed one in the rut on that farm.
Okay. So your velvet hunt last year, uh, was it in the exact same spot as this year that you killed the deer?
Same spot, probably within 50 yards.
Okay, the same spot. And are you catching them coming out of bedding in the evening right there?
I catch them in the morning when they're coming out of bedding. I guess they're going to. There's some ponds back in there, so it's a real shady ridge. They got water close. That one of those pastures, is right there on the fence, probably within 100 yards of that point where that ridge points out.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I've gathered now, I just got on a lease that joins this farm, so I'm gonna be able to maybe put more of the pieces together as far as what exactly they're doing. But I think when I'm getting them, they're going from bedding to like their secondary bedding, if you wanted to call it that,
Okay.
and then they're transitioning back in the evening. And I mean, it's just like a revolving door, man. They do it so consistently, it's crazy.
So okay. So what was the story on this year's buck? What time did you get in there and everything?
Well, I called the deer Holyfield.
Okay.
He had looked like a bite out of his ear, like Mike Tyson had. So I
Yeah,
called
right.
him Holyfield,
Mhm.
and he was, easy to keep up with just because of that alone. But he was an 8 point all 3 years that I knew about him. He never gained or. That farm seems to have the 8 point gene. Like that's what you're gonna get over there.
Right.
There's not any 10 points or 12 points. A buddy of mine killed a 10 point on it last year, but it's normally like you get the big 6 point gene, the 7 point gene, and the 8 point gene. And anyway, he just calling him that made it kind of cool, to keep up with him, because as soon as you seen that ear, you knew it was him.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And I went in there Friday evening to try to kill him because I was getting him on camera in the evenings, and mornings pretty consistently. And I went in there Friday evening And we
And
had
you have a preset hung there?
no, I don't.
No.
I bought that. Started hunting out of a saddle a few years ago.
Oh, okay. What's your setup that you're using right now to run and gun with?
So I got the all my stuff's tethered. I got the one sticks, and then I've
Mhm.
got the lockdown saddle.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we need to talk about that after this then.
Oh man, I love it. Tethered actually moved their headquarters down here about 30 minutes away from my house,
Yeah, in Columbia,
and
right?
and Ernie, one of the owners,
Mhm.
his stepson lives like 5 minutes from my house, so we like become friends.
Mhm.
And I can go up there, after work or something. I can go up there and they'll get me whatever I need.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
So,
yeah, I went in there. Let's see, Friday evening,
mhm.
and tried to kill him Friday evening. I had a doe come in on me about 6:30, and the wind was pretty calm Friday evening, and it was kind of in the process of switching, and it had pretty well switched, almost coming out of the north.
Right.
But every time
From the
that it
west,
was,
right? Wasn't it like a west wind starting out on Friday?
well, I remember it was trying to switch it, and it hadn't hardly got there yet Friday evening,
Mhm. And it was
and
hot.
it was hot, man. Like
It's like 95.
I took my buddy with me to video, and by the time I got my steps hung and got my platform, like I'm leaned over and sweat's just dripping all over him. That he, because he was waiting to come up the tree.
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh, man, there ain't no way I'm gonna kill a deer today. They're gonna smell me. And sure enough, I had a doe coming there, and had the wind swirl just a couple times, and she locked on to us, and I don't know, she stayed in there about 20 minutes, kind of downwind of where it was swirling at,
Right.
and I mean, she got within 20 yards and just blew the whole
Yeah.
evening out.
That's what happened to me on Friday too. I had some does come out and the wind just swirled and went right to them and they just started blowing right off the bat.
I told my buddy, I was like, man, you don't know how bad I just want to put an arrow in that deer right now.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, that I didn't see another deer that evening. Kind of got out of there after that happened, and had a guy ride his razor by. It's on that lease I got on.
Oh, really?
So that was about 7:15 when that happened. I was like, man, let's get out of here. So I left my stuff in the tree though because the wind was going to be perfect for Saturday.
Oh, that's
And
really nice. So the next day you just had to come in and just anchor in and be ready to go, huh?
yeah,
Oh man,
and
that's
I mean it
nice.
didn't take long. I think I laid eyes on him at about 6:10, and I shot him at like 6:15.
Oh, really? So what time did you get in there?
I got in there about 5 o'clock.
Okay. And what's sunrise about?
Uh, I'd have to get on. I'd have to
I
get on
think
there and look.
I
It
think
was probably,
gray light's like 5:30 or something, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably like legal shooting lights. Probably gonna be 15 to 6 or something like that. I ain't sure.
Mm-hmm. So you got in
It's
there, you got set up, and he came right in, huh?
yeah. I mean it. I wanted to get in there early. Just I always like trying to do that anywhere I hunt. I try to get in there quiet as I can. I take more time getting in, in the morning than I would in the evening. But
Mm-hmm.
I try to tiptoe in there, and I got in there, didn't blow any deer, walking in, and it was about 6 o'clock. I looked just right over that point, and I could see some deer coming. I think I heard the fence rattle where they crossed the fence down
Oh,
there.
really? Okay.
and he was the third deer in line. And once they crossed over that ridge, I'm set up on their trail where they cross, and he come right by me. The first two got by me, and I was worried that they were gonna bust me drawing because they were almost right under me. Whenever I drew back on him.
Right.
And
How high up were you?
I was probably about 18 foot.
Okay. So you're
I
using
try
about
to
four,
get up
you're
there
using
best
4
I can.
steps or?
Yeah, 4 steps.
Okay.
I use 4, and I've got an 8er on my bottom step.
Oh, cool. So he came in, he read the script, and you shot him right there. So was he the buck that you were going in there to hunt, or was he the only one, or did you have a hit list, or was he it or nothing?
So I had on that farm, I had 2 deer that I would have shot this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them, I'm pretty sure, was 5 years old. The other one was a 7-point, but he was kind of sporadic. I was getting him more on the other end of that ridge by that other thicket I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had a friend of mine, I put him in there to try to kill that deer. And he wound up getting smelled.
Mm-hmm.
Probably by that deer, I'm going to say. But the Holyfield or whatever, he was staying, kind of on the end that I was on. That's where I was getting him. And he was probably 15 yards, I guess, when I shot, and he was slightly quarter to me.
Mm-hmm.
But with me being as high as I was, it's kind of a pretty straight down shot. And
Mm-hmm.
I put it right there on the top of his shoulder, and it come out his heart, on the other side. So
Right. Awesome.
he piled up. Like when he took off running, he couldn't use his front legs. You know how I call it like the bulldozer effect.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did, and he was done.
So you saw him fall from your stand right there, huh?
I didn't actually see him fall, but I knew when he took off running, like I knew
dead.
I was like, man, I got him, and I heard him crash,
Mm-hmm.
but I just couldn't see him, until I got down.
Yeah. Well, that's a good feeling, huh?
Man, I was pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
I love bow hunting, man. I'd rather kill him with a bow than a gun any day.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's just so hard to get a deer to live, that long for one thing, but it's even harder to kill them.
Right.
And it's just a good feeling whenever you do.
So did you have, since it was so hot out on Saturday was a little bit cooler, but it was still hot out, right? It was like a little rainy.
It wasn't down here. I don't see, I'm almost, if you drew a line straight down from Nashville and followed it straight down toward the Alabama line, like I'm 10 minutes from the Alabama line. So.
Oh, are you really? You're that far down?
Yeah, I'm down here in Lawrence County with the birthplace of old Davy Crockett.
Oh, okay. Cool. And you come up all the way up here to hunt by me sometimes, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about a 2.5 hour drive up there.
Man, I thought for some reason you were closer. I didn't know you were that far down there.
So I'm looking forward to coming up your way here opening weekend.
Yeah, I bet. So did you have ice and everything all staged, ready to go? Did you just gut them, or did you quarter them up out there in the field, or how'd you process them right there?
Well, I got down, looked at my arrow, and my arrow broke. I guess whenever he took off running, it broke off. I guess like between his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen the blood, and I was like, man, that's good blood. I'm just gonna go ahead and start trying to find him. So I blood trailed him about 50 yards. He was laying there dead. And my buddy was still hunting, so I wanted to give him, a little bit of time. So I went ahead and gutted him. And then he finally just said, "I'm gonna go get the 4-wheeler," and I had him back home by about 8:30 and got him cleaned.
Man, that's nice to have the whole rest of your day, huh?
It was. And my taxidermist, he's the guy that was hunting with me on Friday evening.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to go with me Saturday morning. So I was like calling him, trying to get him. I was like, man, I got him. And he was sleeping in. So he finally called me back, and I got him over there, and we got him caped out and everything.
So you said your taxidermist was the one that came with you the first day to film you?
Yeah.
Do you ever do any self-filming?
I used to.
It's a lot of work, huh?
Man, it is. And
Yeah.
I realized, I was just doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I get, first and foremost, I was just doing it for fun. But the amount of work that you got to put into it, especially if you're going to put it on YouTube and everything.
Yep.
I thought, man, it's just so much extra work.
I know, and it's heavy.
It is. You got a real lightweight setup though, don't you?
This is the first year. So I've tried to self-film 2 years in a row, and I don't even usually make it to November. I'll quit in like beginning of October because I'll get sick of carrying all the stuff in. So this year I just bought an extra iPhone and then this Beast Grip cage thing that goes on it that you can buy a lens for.
Yeah.
And then I bought like a pocket arm, and then I'm just going to use a GoPro. So really just a phone and a GoPro, and the arm is all I'm going to try to use this year and see how that goes. I really hate carrying stuff. I'm kind of a minimalist. I really hate carrying stuff in.
Now, I told you I got out of the filming deal, but I'm a big turkey hunter.
Right.
Honestly, between that and bow hunting for big bucks, that's my two things I love to do. But I've got a YouTube channel but it's just pretty much just turkey hunts.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But, it's called Oak Spur Outdoors.
Oak Spur Outdoors?
Yep.
I'll check that out. I love turkey hunting.
Yeah, I knew you did. I wished hopefully we can get together this next time and do some.
Yeah, well, I know you do because you were all over the place this year, huh? How many birds did you kill this year?
Oh, me, man. Let's see. I got my 2 here in Tennessee. I got my 2 in Kentucky. I got the 1 bonus bird up there.
Mm-hmm.
I killed 1 in Wyoming, and then my 2 in South Dakota. So I don't even know how many that is. Let's see. 1, 2,
so
3.
Your South Dakota and Wyoming, that was all on the same trip, right? You just went to South Dakota, hunted for like a week, and then shot over to Wyoming or something?
Yeah, we tried to time it out, to where both states were open. Mm-hmm. And we done it this year. We done it a little different than we have been. We went opening weekend of South Dakota.
And man, none of those are like draws or anything, right? All of that stuff is just over the counter kind of stuff.
No, South Dakota, you can buy like a Black Hills over the counter pretty much. You're guaranteed that. Mm-hmm. But your other tag, as far as like the designated area, you have to get drawn for that.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you normally don't have any trouble getting drawn.
Well, that's nice. Because you went with like 2 of your buddies, right? Or something?
Yeah, we had 3 guys. We've been going out there about 4 years now, I think.
And you all get drawn, or if someone just doesn't get drawn, then they're the filmer?
We've all got drawn every time.
Wow, that's amazing, dude.
The first year I ever went out there, I won a hunt from a veteran page on Facebook. I won a hunt in Wyoming.
Okay.
And then I told I told all the guys while we were there, I was like, man, we need to look into South Dakota. So we weren't that far away from the line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that all came about. And then I had a friend of a friend that had a ranch out there. So we started getting in, with his unit or whatever. And that's kind of how all that started. And we've met so many people. Like every year we go, we meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just give you permission to hunt. It ain't.
That's what I was going to ask you if like the things I hear that are true, that like people in Wyoming or out west, they don't look at turkeys like the same way that we do down here as like a tradition, something to hunt, and they just look at them as like a nuisance. Like, yeah, go for it, kill them all if you want.
Yeah, man. A funny story about this trip. Of course, we all, you see the guys in the airport and you're like, yeah, that guy hunts, I mean, it ain't like we're walking around in full camo or nothing, but
Mm-hmm.
we got on a plane, flew out of Nashville, and I think we went to Chicago was where our connecting flight was. And we're standing there, fixing to get on our next plane. And I look over and I see this guy, probably in his mid 70s. You can tell he's like a rancher. He's got like a cattle hat on and all with this big ranch on it stuff.
Yeah.
And I told my buddy, I was like, man, I'm fixing to go ask that guy about turkey hunting. And I literally walked over there, started a conversation with a guy, real nice and everything. He gave us permission to hunt 12,000 acres in Wyoming.
What?
Standing in the airport.
What, dude?
It's crazy.
So you weren't even planning to go there. I mean, you were planning to go to Wyoming, but you didn't know this guy from anybody, and you just got 12,000 acres?
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, and we all tagged out on his place.
Really?
Wyoming's a one-bird state, but yeah.
So what were you initially going? What were you initially going to do? Were you just going to hunt public?
In Wyoming?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to hunt public.
And then you just got this ranch all to yourselves, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you drive through this one, I don't know how many acres this one place was where we killed them at, but I swear it seemed like it took 20 minutes, to drive down this road to get back in there. And then once you get back there, it was like the most beautiful. That's one thing I'd encourage anybody to do. Like if you want to go, if you think you want to go out west and go turkey hunting, you may as well do it, because just getting to see the scenery out there, man, which I know you went and did that antelope hunt or whatever, but
yeah,
man, it's beautiful out there to get to see all that.
Yeah, it is gorgeous out there. And that was initially my retirement plan, was to move to like Wyoming, Idaho, or Montana or something. I've been thinking about that forever, since I was a kid. And then COVID happened, and the prices of the houses jumped so high that it's like impossible now.
My wife, another funny story about out west and getting permission. Me and my wife, we went out there to northern Montana for a wedding. And it was in October, I think. So we were going to go out there, and we were going to go to Yellowstone and the Teton. We're going to do all that, while we were there.
Right.
And I told my wife, I was like, man, if we go all the way out there, I was like, I'm going to have to find something to try to kill out there. Yeah. So we get out there, and it's just, turkeys everywhere around where they lived at. So I got to looking, and there was a fall turkey season, and for non-resident, you could just go buy a tag. It was like $50. I mean, it was cheap.
Really?
So I go and buy a tag, bought me a mouth call, and I had like a camo hoodie or something that I brought. And the people that was getting married let me borrow their shotgun. So I bought some turkey shells, and I just got up one morning and started riding around and knocking on doors. And I met up with at this guy's house. He was like, a rancher or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to talking, and he's like, "Man, I got 6 toms that roost back here in my pasture every day." And he said, "Why don't you come over about 4 o'clock this evening and try to kill you one?" So I was
He
like,
doesn't care about him at all, huh?
"No." And so I was like, "All right, I appreciate it." And I rolled up over there and got out, and I went and set up, in the pasture there, but by his round pen. He fed his horses and stuff, and then turkeys would just come running when like he said, as soon as you see me come outside to feed, he said, you better get ready because they're going to come running across that pasture. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm squawking on that mouth call. It sounded terrible. And no turkeys, no turkeys. Well, I heard them coming outside, and I'll be dang, they went out there to feed the horses, and my phone rang, and it was him. He's like, they're over here beside the round pen if you want to come shoot one. So I'm like, man, there ain't no way. He said, yeah. He said, they're all 6 of them's over here. So I get up, go sneaking around there, and sure enough, they're standing over there by the round pen. But as soon as they seen me with that dang shotgun, they started getting out of there, and I rolled one of them.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's a different experience out there for sure as far as getting permission.
So those are Miriams you're hunting out there?
In Montana, it wasn't. It was like a Rio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it almost looked like it was like a hybrid, but it was more of a Rio than it was Merriam.
But South Dakota and Wyoming were Miriams?
Yeah, they're 100% like white as they get.
I think those are the prettiest ones, I think. Besides those ones in Mexico, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Merriam's probably the prettiest one. Everybody says they're the dumbest ones, but I'm telling you right now, they're pretty slick and they're really fast. They'll cover some ground in a hurry.
I thought I had heard that they gobble more or gobble easier to stuff or something.
They gobble more, but you got to call to them more. I remember the first year I went out there, I was trying to hunt them like I do in Eastern.
Right.
And like they were just gobbling, going away from me. They would gobble, but I wasn't. You can get real excited as you want. You can do whatever you want to, but as long as you're calling to them, they're going to come.
So you gotta go do that again next year?
No, we're not. We're going to change it up. I think we're going to try to go to Texas.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool.
We got permission this year out there in South Dakota on a place that's like the best place we've ever had. And I told them guys, I was like, y'all realize if we don't come back, we're probably going to lose this spot.
Well, you better be buying that rancher like a Christmas present this year.
Man, he was nice, so nice. Him and his wife both.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I try to send them all something. Sure enough, every time we've sent them, like summer sausage, and one of my buddies is a cattle farmer, and he sends them stuff all the time. But that's a whole different world out there compared to here as far as getting permission.
Yeah,
You stop and ask somebody for permission around here, and it's like you shot their dog or something.
I know it's almost not even worth trying around here.
It can be frustrating for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you
And
said you got. Go ahead.
well, just the hunting in general, man, is becoming more and more like that around here.
I know.
It's like cutthroat stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how anybody's getting permission without just getting a lease or something for private now, or buying it themselves. I mean,
Right.
I think last couple years I tried that letter idea and just found. I figured if I sent out 200 letters of just farms that I really liked in Tennessee and Kentucky, I'd get one, so it'd be worth it. The closest I came was I got an old lady who's like, "Yeah, that'd be great. I don't manage land though, so just call this guy. He does, and he can help you out with hunting it." And I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be awesome." Okay, so I called this guy, and he's like, no, man, me and my brother hunt that. You can't come out there."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always some kind of excuse most of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, I think 2 years in a row I sent like 200 letters to 200 different places, and I got 200 no's. So I was like, well, okay. So this year I got a lease in Tennessee
Yeah.
here. I
How
didn't
big
want
was the
to.
lease you got?
I have a lease that's, I think it's right around 200 acres.
200
It's
acres.
it's somewhere between 175 and like 225 or something like that.
Well, that'll be good. Hopefully, you'll be able to get in on some good deer hunting on it.
I know. Yeah. And we got our other place to go up here, I'm excited for that to open.
Me too.
Yeah. So you've already got one down. Do you hunt Kentucky at all?
Well, I'm going to get to this year. The engineer that on the train I'm on,
Mm-hmm.
his girlfriend, fiance, whatever, she's got I think it's about 35 acres up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, forget the little name of the town, kind of northwest of Greenville, where I can turkey hunt.
Okay.
But anyway, he don't hunt, but he runs cameras out there. And I've known
Really?
this guy for like 3 years.
He just likes to
And
watch the
man,
deer or something?
I don't know why he. I mean, he is a hunter. I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I guess he hunts some, but he's not like he don't bow hunt.
He's not die
He just
hard
likes
about it.
to run cameras, I guess.
Mm.
But man, he's had some sure enough slammers on camera up there, and I've been aggravating him for like 3 years. And then I guess now that I'm his conductor or whatever, I was like, man, you're gonna have to let me come hunt now. And he's gonna let me. So I bought a couple more Tacticams, got them in today, and I'm gonna send one with him this weekend and get it put out. And yeah, I plan on coming up there and trying to kill one.
When are you going to go up there?
I didn't realize y'all's season opens this weekend.
Yeah, on Saturday. Isn't that crazy?
I definitely won't come this weekend. I'd like to try to come before our other spot, opens.
Yeah. I always hunt Kentucky, and I hunt public in Kentucky, but the public I hunt in Kentucky is all big woods, and there's not really any ag, so it's hard for me to get excited until the swap happens
Later
and they
on.
start eating acorns and rutting and stuff, because I go in there and I don't see them, but
Well,
it's
this
fun
farm, man, that he's got, like, it sets up. There's ag on the east side and west side of it, and then there's ag on the north side of it. And then on the south of it, there's like this swamp. and there's some railroad tracks that come kind of splits them. So it's like the only big block of timber around all that ag.
Man, that might end up being really good then, huh? Have you actually been able to go out there and put boots on the ground, or are you just seen pictures from him?
I just now seen an aerial view of it a couple of days ago and kind of mapped it out. But I'll probably be easing up there here sometime in the near future to kind of check it out, in person.
Yeah, that swamp could end up being really good too.
Yeah, the swamp is actually that's not on their property.
Yeah, but I just mean like it could hold them in there.
Yeah.
And then they could come out. Well, that's exciting, man. Like, you're probably going to slay like five big bucks this year.
Well, I go to northern Missouri every year, and I go
Do
up
you
there.
really?
Yeah.
Man, you're all over the place, dude.
There's some of these places, man, once I started going, I just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I want to go to
northern Missouri is by far the best spot to go.
Are you got private up there, or are you going public?
So we lease let's see, it's about 300 acres. You could say we lease it. We pay to hunt. It's private land. Nobody hunts it or whatever. But we pay to hunt it like when we come. So it's so far away, it ain't like you can just go up there multiple times. So we always go, like the first week of November. And in the past, I've always only been able to bow hunt up there.
Right.
But this year, I'm gonna get to gun hunt it. So I'm gonna go up there the last 2 days of bow season, and then catch opening weekend of rifle.
Man, that'd be cool. Yeah, I grew up in Missouri, and unfortunately, I didn't hunt when I bird hunted and I turkey hunted a little bit as a kid in Missouri, but I didn't really deer hunt. I wish I did, because it turns out like I lived in a really good area for deer hunting.
Oh man, it's wild out there. You'll see more deer in a week's time. You'll see more bucks, bigger bucks, in a week's time out there than you just about will here the whole season.
Really? So how did you find that? Were you just meeting more dudes in airports?
No. I got invited to go up there about 6 years ago with a guy. Dave actually got a lease up there. Got invited to go, and went the first time. And once I went with him, and like, man, I was like, this is crazy. And I went with him 2 years, I think, and then I kind of branched out on my own, trying to find my own spot.
Yeah. And so, do other people hunt that farm when you're not there?
Who knows, man?
Okay, so you don't have any idea.
You always wonder that.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care nothing about having a lease up there, because it's so far away. You just you can't watch it.
So what you're doing is you're like, hey, I'm going to show up Monday through Friday of this, and the guy's like, okay, it's this much money per day, basically, or something.
He charges like a flat fee. We pay. This year we're going to be paying more because we're going to be rifle hunting. But if we were just bow hunting, it's $500 a person for a week.
That's not bad at all, dude.
And then we could come turkey hunt it. That's that includes turkey hunting for the next year.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, man. That's actually a pretty good deal with the way things are going now. Most places are up to like $40 an acre,
Yeah.
Kentucky here, it's insane.
But I'm looking forward to it, man. I got a lot of plans, but who knows how. I'm married and got 2 kids, so I gotta weigh it all out. And we're going on cruise in October for 2 weeks that my wife's
Oh,
hooked us
really?
up on. So
Well, at least you'll
it's
get back and you'll be like rearing to go. You know what I mean? You'll be like
oh yeah,
fresh.
and it's kind of in that time where unless you get a good cold front, the action just don't seem to be there anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm not super bummed out on missing 2 weeks.
Are you building any points for Iowa?
I've got 3 points, but
That's what I got.
I messed around and didn't get them in this year.
Oh, you didn't get to do a preference point this year?
No, I waited too late, and I missed it.
I have to set reminders on my phone, otherwise I'll forget because the Iowa one's like at some random weird time.
Yeah, and I thought I would get like an email or something.
No, they don't send you anything, and it's like March to June or something.
I was like, man, how do you? Because I know they're making bank on people coming up there.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, and I even like select like subscribe to newsletter or something. You'd think that they'd come out like put your preference points in now, or whatever, but they don't do any of that. Yeah, well, I got 3 points. You got 3 points. I guess when we get to 5 or 6, we should go up there together.
Man, that'd be fun. Whenever I go, like I'm taking at least a week of vacation, to go.
Oh yeah, I'm going up there in November, and I'm planning on not coming back till I kill a buck somehow.
Well, see where I'm at in Missouri, I'm about a mile from the Iowa line. So
So it's the same deer.
the same deer, and it's the same. I feel like it's going to be the same type of action because everybody wants that southeast zone, don't they?
Yeah, 5 or 6. I think that's 6, maybe.
Now, I mean, I'm right there at it.
Yeah, so you got a good spot right there in Missouri, and Missouri's over the counter, right?
It is.
Yeah, so that's good. I'm debating whether I want to try to do Kansas next year because I have one preference point for Kansas, and I've never been.
Yeah. I tell you, a place that I seen a bunch of bucks, whitetails, was in when I went up there to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, man, they were everywhere. I seen the morning we were leaving, going to the airport. I seen like 160 class
Really?
deer just stepped out in the road, and I had to stop the car to keep from hitting him. But they're walking around in people's bedding. They were bedding down in the where we were staying in the yard.
It's wild, isn't it?
Well, I think
before I let you go here, I want to talk about your saddle. I don't want to talk about your setup. I want to talk about your gear real quick. Because I had a tethered saddle, and that's kind of what I started with. I started hunting with the tethered saddles like, whatever year they came out, was probably like 5 years ago now, you think? 4 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, probably.
So I got that one, and then this last year, I decided, hey, I'm going to sell this one, and I'm going to try a different company out, a more mom and pop kind of company. And I sold it, and I went and did the velvet hunt, and I like to get in early, so I did about a 6 or 7 hour sit on Friday with it, and I was miserable. I can't. It's so uncomfortable. So now I went back and I just ordered that new lockdown.
Sweet.
So you like it?
So I've only had 2 saddles. I've had the Phantom, which I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then I got the Lockdown. And the only reason I went to the Lockdown, well, I guess there's 2 reasons. The main reason is because it's got, the piece that you can pull down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's a little more comfortable.
Yeah. So it's not totally like a 2-panel. It's like a 1.5 panel saddle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pockets that's made on there on the Lockdown you can fit so much stuff and like organize it, like before with those pouches I had on my Phantom, I'm just shoving everything, down in them.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
And like I go to pull my my his strap or whatever, I go to pull that thing out and I'll drop my dang tether.
Yep.
And I like the way the lockdown, you can organize everything a lot better.
Yeah, those big pockets were a big selling point for me because one thing that I do that's kind of unique is I don't one stick, but I take 3 sticks with aiders on them. But I
Mm-hmm.
also bring 30 foot of rope with me, and then I just use that as my tether. And then at the end of the night, I just rappel down the tree. That way, I don't have to try to
Okay.
get down on the steps in the night and try to get down the aiders. Those aiders
Yeah.
can get crazy dangerous getting down at night.
Oh, for sure. That's why I just use one on the bottom, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's what I do too. When I hear dudes talk about using 2 or 3 step aiders like halfway up the tree, I'm like, "Ooh, man." It's like, good luck, dude.
Well, I'm
But
bad. Like, I'll admit it, I'm bad about not using my lineman rope climbing sometimes.
mhm.
And if your foot like swung out, if you done that and your foot swung out on one of them aiders, like you're gone.
Yeah,
There ain't
you
no.
are. Yeah.
So I try to use my lineman's belt more and more every year just because I'm getting older and stuff. But,
Yeah.
man, ever since I swapped to a saddle, though, I remember I used to give guys such a hard time for using them.
Mhm.
But once I used one and realized how much more finesse you can be, like, trying to get in tight on a deer, just it's so much easier, so much quieter,
Yeah.
and you can hide behind a tree.
Mhm.
It's just a cool way to hunt, I think, and it's a lot more. I've been a lot more effective on killing bigger deer since I've used it. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah. I think some people get attached to like the style or like is it being a group, and I look at it as just like an awesome tool to use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have a lone wolf like custom gear hang on that I use, the .75, and I
Mm-hmm.
like that, but it just depends on what I'm doing, you know? Like, do I want something that's far back that is going to be a long walk and isn't going to be that long of a hunt? Then it's a no brainer to take my saddle. But, maybe I'm just going to sit in a rut funnel all day and kind of nice to just sit in a regular stand. It's just kind of, to me, I don't get emotional about it. It's like the best tool for the job.
It got, I had a learning curve where I had to like trust everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember last year I shot that 10 point up there by you, and
Mm-hmm.
he came in. It's one of them deals where like I seen him and I was like, grabbed my gun and just swung around and pulled up and shot him. And after I got done doing it, I was like, that gum, I wasn't even hanging on to nothing. I just had my feet here. And
Yeah.
it was just like a smooth motion. I
Mm-hmm.
had to shoot him across, on my bad side.
Right.
And
I tell
and
you
there's
what,
so much more.
I don't know how much public, if these things wouldn't have come out, like this lightweight trend with either Lone Wolf or Tethered or the other companies that are producing lightweight stuff, I don't know how much public I would hunt because I was using, when I first went mobile, I went to like that, like Summit Goliath. Is that one of them?
Yeah. Or a
And I
viper.
mean, I was like picking these spots out in the woods. I was like being all strategic. I was like, okay, I need to get way back here to get to this dude. And I was banging that thing off of everything. And at the end of the night, putting it away and carrying it through the woods and getting stuck in the bushes and the trees on that thing. It was
Oh
just so
man.
frustrating that I was just like, screw this, man. I don't want to carry this thing ever again.
Yeah, and like by the time you get back to your truck, you're like the hunchback of Notre Dame, because it's
Yeah.
everything's so heavy.
Yeah, and if you don't bring anything, it's heavy. You know what I mean? But then you want to bring like a little book bag and put it in there, and it's like, dude, now you're at like 40 pounds.
Feels like you're on a ruck march or something.
I know exactly, man. Well, hey, man, I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate you coming on with me and chatting with me about your velvet buck. and everything
Man, I
else.
appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So where can people find you at? Where can they see that you're a velvet buck and all this stuff?
They probably have to add me on Facebook or something.
Okay.
I'm in that bow hunting league.
Oh,
I
you
don't
are?
know. Yeah, that's a heck of a group to get in on if anybody. I mean, if you just want a diehard bow hunting page to be on,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
And then
all
you
those
got your
guys are
YouTube
real
page,
good
huh, for
guests.
turkey hunting?
Yeah, that's Oak Spur Outdoors.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out later.
Some of those hunts, well, all the hunts from out west are on there this time.
Really? That's cool, man.
My son's first hunt, he killed his first turkey this year. He was 5 when he killed it. He's 6 now.
That's incredible, dude.
So, but yeah, man, I'll be seeing you here for too long, and I appreciate you hollering at me.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll see you soon. I'll hook up with you when you come on up here. And man, just congratulations again on that buck. It was a beautiful buck.
Thank you, man.
Okay, well, have a good night, man. I'll see you later.
All right, you too, buddy. We'll see
All
you.
right, bye.